In this lesson, we're going to learn how to prove lines being parallel. We've actually looked at the corresponding angles postulate before in one of our previous lessons, which said if two lines are parallel, then corresponding angles are congruent. Well, the converse, remember from back in chapter 2, if I have a conditional that's in the form if P then Q, the converse is just flipping that. It's going to become if Q then P. So now I'm going to give you the angles being congruent, and once I know that, then my lines should be parallel. So let's go ahead and read it. If two lines are cut by transversals so that corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. You can see how it's just flipped from what we've done in the past. And there were a whole bunch of angle relationships that we dealt with, and they're all true. We've got converse of alternate exteriors, consecutive interiors, and alternate interiors. We also had that last one, the perpendicular transversal theorem, before, talking about 90 degrees and right angles. We've dealt with all of those before. Okay, so what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom examples here. There's several of them. I'm going to go ahead and work through, I'll do 1B, 1D, and 1E on this slide. Okay, so I'm going to tell you certain angles being congruent or adding up to 180, and I want to know, based on that information, if lines are going to be parallel, which means that they should have a relationship from what we talked about before. So I'm going to look at angle 3 and angle 11. Here's angle 3, here's angle 11. Well, those are actually corresponding angles. So if I know that those are corresponding angles, 1B, I want to know which lines are going to be parallel. In this case, lines L and M are going to be parallel. You need to give me a reason. I know that they're parallel by the converse of corresponding angles. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's go ahead and let's jump. We're going to actually jump to 1E next. 1E is looking at 8 and 13. So here's 8, here's 13. I know that those add up to 180. These are actually consecutive interior angles. So again, I know a couple lines are parallel, and these are also going to be lines L and M. Those are going to be parallel because of the converse of consecutive interior angles. And then the last one, I want to look at 1D. 1D is looking at angles 1 and 15. While looking at angles 1 and 15, I do not know any relationship between those angles. They could be congruent. Actually, they tell me they're congruent, but I don't know if they're alternate interiors, alternate exteriors, corresponding, and I definitely know they're not consecutive interiors because they're not adding up to 180. So I can't determine, in this case, whether lines are going to be parallel or not in this case. So I'm just going to say not enough information.